Blackness has struggled to exist in peace in America forever. Here in Akron is no different. Like most American cities, Akron is not immune to racism and certainly has not overcome the past. People marched then, they must march now. We still marching. For years, people took to the streets, demanding equality, demanding better. Racism stood tall and strong because we have not directly invested in undoing its harm. Generations have been affected by its harm. Every black person has a story. We all have that moment that changed our families forever. We all have that moment that affected how we would show up in the world. This is my family's story. It inspired a little Southern black girl to move here for law school because she dreamt of fighting for justice denied to her granddaddy. Pop, 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 shots rang out in the dark on a corner country road in North Carolina. A warm brown body fell to the ground, like strange fruit cut from a low-hanging branch. Laying at the feet of a man with a badge was my granddaddy, J.T. Rutledge. Say his name, J.T. Rutledge. A broken headlight, a man with a badge, a storm raining down bullets. He was running from a safety officer in hopes of finding safety amongst the trees. Shot in the back, the badge claimed self-defense, claimed granddaddy reached for a gun. That was 1962, and we are still saying their names. Every month we add more names. Here we are in 2021, families still standing by caskets filled with the strange and sweet fruit cut down too soon. Babies standing by caskets, saying goodbye to daddies, have kids who will never know granddaddy. Mama Karen lost her daddy when she was a baby, just like Gianna Floyd lost her daddy. 58 years between the crimes. We should be better. Still, folks can't forget justice. The racism that killed granddaddy morphed, making it possible for George Floyd to be killed under an officer's crushing knee. When will we apply crushing pressure on racism? When will we respond to the hate living right here in Akron, Ohio? I stood in front of a crowd, pregnant with a son, speaking at a George Floyd vigil. People yelled racial slurs as they drove by. I carried a baby boy and listened as he cried out, "Mama! Mama!" And heard racial slurs at me. Mama! Black families will always have to deal with hearing mama as bodies hit the ground if we do not act. I don't want to give that speech again. I don't want to give that speech for my son or daughter. When will we realize racism is baked into the land by the sun that kissed brown bodies that toiled American soil? It is our foundation. Akron is no different. I moved here seeking justice by going to law school, but I learned justice fighters were in the streets, and I joined them. Today's problems are rooted in the problems of the past. We must dig up the foundation of all of our systems. It is time for us to stop using Band-Aids to solve problems. We know we need a full surgical team. We need to gut the problem. This is important. Babies are kept in cages because of racism. Black Akronites face structural racism every day. They press forward despite being the bottom of the barrel. Did you know in Akron, the zip code with the highest black population makes 3 times less than the zip code with the highest white population? That is modern racism. On average, 7 times more white students graduate from the University of Akron than black students each year. That is modern racism. Black, indigenous people of color are dying at a tremendous rate from COVID-19. That is modern racism. We can't undo these facts. We need anti-racism. If diversity is like a fruit bowl, all of the fruit is present but separate. This is not and should not be our goal. We gotta do better. If inclusion is like a fruit platter, all of the fruit is chopped up, touching, marinated, and loving on each other, sharing flavors, but keeping their own integrity and worth, seems like a lofty goal. But y'all, we have to do better. It feels good. We should be here. We should want this, but there is better. We must continue to fight against racist policy. And what is better? Well, what's better than all of that is anti-racism. Anti-racism is like the fridge. It's like the icebox. It's the room. It's the room. We have to attack the supremacy in the room. It's built into the walls. It's built into the grounds. If we want to keep the fruit cold and fresh and lively, then we have got to make sure our rooms are conducive to caring for its precious content. This is our goal. This is better. Ending racism used to be about getting brown bodies in the room, diversity. Then we needed to hear their voice, inclusion. Now we need their voice to bring about change. Things have to look, move, and feel different. Institutions must respond to, hear, and act to the demands of Black, Indigenous people of color. Boardrooms and classrooms are going to have to change. You might have to give up some of Dr. Seuss books. That's all I'm saying. America needs this, and so does Akron, Ohio, the home of so many justice fighters. When we move to anti-racism, we start to change the room. We start digging up the foundation. If the fridge isn't maintained, then the fruit spoils. We have to make sure we take care of our spaces. We can investigate to make sure we're doing right with each other. We need to ask, is this safe for all? Is this an open and affirming space? Is this free of bias and hate? Are our hearts open? Are we ready for the sweetest fruit salad? Is Akron ready for justice fighters like me, like those that I stood with at protest, like those that I see every day fighting for everyone? We have to make change. We have to do the work. And I am sorry, if you don't want to be a part of that change, well, you have two choices. You can either join us, justice fighters, or prepare to battle us.